The CCTV footage from the accident that led to the demise of Cyrus Jirongo has left investigators and experts puzzled not by the crash itself, but by what happened, or more precisely, what didn't happen immediately afterward. In a typical high-impact accident, the first seconds are marked by instinctive human reaction, screams, sudden movement, and a rush of passengers toward exits for their own safety or to witness the damage. Where were the over 60 passengers? This is a simplified review of the CCTV footage in the aftermath of the head-on collision. In the first 1 or 2 minutes following a serious accident, a scene typically transforms into one of chaotic activity. Uninjured or lightly injured passengers rapidly disembark, driven by fear of fire or secondary collision, and begin to assess the situation. Yet, in this case, CCTV footage reveals a prolonged period, roughly 2 minutes, where no passengers are seen approaching the crash site. The first visible human reaction captured is attributed to an external bystander, such as a petrol station attendant, not to any of the dozens of individuals who directly experienced the collision. This sequence creates a critical inconsistency. Why did the initial response come from outside the vehicle rather than from the people within it? The bus was reportedly carrying a substantial number of passengers. In accidents involving even a small number of occupants, it is statistically unusual for none to exit the vehicle quickly. With dozens of passengers, the expectation will be for at least a few to spill out of the doors, gather nearby, or move toward the other vehicle involved. The available footage, however, does not show these or the formation of a crowd of passengers around the bus after it came to a stop. This absence prompts a pointed question. Where were all the passengers during this immediate aftermath? And why was their physical presence not documented? Following a collision, a bus that comes to a stop normally becomes the focal point of urgent activity, with doors opening and passengers either assisting others or moving to safety. The footage indicates the bus traveled 50 meters post-impact before stopping. What remains unclear is the transition after it halted. There is no clear account of passengers flooding out or attempting to render aid. Even basic emergency instinct, shouting for help, checking on fellow passengers, or approaching the other crashed vehicle are not visibly documented in the immediate aftermath. This lack of action leads investigators to ask, were these expected interventions occurring outside the camera's view, or were they significantly delayed? Perhaps the most striking anomaly is the lack of immediate eyewitness presence from the passengers themselves. In public transport accidents, passengers invariably become the primary witnesses, providing immediate accounts to each other and to arriving officials. Their visible presence at the scene is a standard element of post-crash dynamics. The CCTV does not show passengers actively emerging in this role during the critical early moments. Statements referenced later only appear to show the driver to be the only one in that bus giving his testimony. While this is possible because they could have been transferred to another vehicle, their physical presence from the initial scene is unusual. This raises a deeper procedural question. Why was the group best positioned to witness the event other than the driver or even conductors not visibly present and engaged in the immediate post-impact phase? When all elements are combined, the severe impact, the high passenger count, the 2-minute delay in visible reaction, and the absence of passenger witnesses, a central issue remains unresolved. The muted human response stands in stark contrast to the violence of the crash, which, based on similar incidents, would typically produce immediate and visible chaos. This mismatch does not point to a conclusion, but multiplies the questions. The core inconsistency investigators must address is what explains the profound disconnect between the expected instinctive public reaction to a serious accident and the subdued activity captured in the wake of this event. That is it from me for now, and thanks for watching. This is Sophia Live.